Welcome back to Artistry. I'm your host, Tirus Wanyoike. Now today, right now, I want to demonstrate the action of screwing. Screwing as in, I want to join two pieces of wood together using a screw. As you can see in my tray, I have quite an assorted screws. I have engineering bits, and I have the screwing tip for screwing. So that is the task ahead. Now I want us to see the best way to go about it. In our day-to-day activities, we require to screw a piece of wood against a bench, a piece of wood against something else which is fixed, to screw an item to a platform or even to a picture rail. So I want to see how best to go about it, because it's not always that we will have the power tools. We may sometimes be required to use the screwdriver, the hand screwdriver. So for now, we are going to illustrate the use of the power tool, and then what we will do to screw the screw itself using this screwing tip with this tool. Then you can as well use a manual screwdriver to do it. So for now, for demonstration, we are going to use the power tool. This one, we call it a cordless drill or a screwer. It is used for either screwing or drilling. So these are my two pieces of wood that I want to join. So my consideration for the type of screw, or rather the length of screw that I'm going to use, as well as the diameter of the screw that I'm going to use, I'm going first to determine it. So I'll put my two pieces here, and then together I'll consider their thickness here. According to my tape measure, this is 35 millimeters. 35 millimeters, then my screw should not go beyond that 5, or should not even be 35 millimeters, because the chance of me, after screwing, getting the tip, the last bit of the screw here is very high if I use that 35 millimeter screw. So what I'm going to use is a 30 millimeter screw. I'm going to use 30 millimeter screw, and then I consider the diameter of this part, the threaded part. So this is 3 millimeter. 3 millimeter. So I want to join these two pieces of wood together. I have my screw 30 millimeters long, and its diameter, where the threads are, it's about 3 millimeter. So I will use a 4 millimeter engineering bit to make sure that the thread will not hold anything on the first part of my piece. So it will start grabbing on the second piece, then it will hold tightly against the first piece. So I'm going to drill first on this piece, and since the machine is ready, my vise is working, and I can do it, I'll just fit the bit in my machine. After I fit the bit tightly, then I'll mark where I want to put the joint using the tri-square and the pencil. I'll hold against the edge and make a mark, and then in the middle of that mark, I'll make a hole. And then before I remove the piece, I countersink. Make way for the head of the screw. A little bit with a bigger bit to countersink. I have countersunk the hole. Now I have the hole and it's countersunk. The head has somewhere now to sink into. Then I'll get my second piece, And now I'm going to use the F clamp to tighten or to hold fast against the bench. And I'll change the bit now to the screwing tip. Get my 30mm screw, and then I change the gears here. We said number 1 for screwing, number 2 for drilling. And I'll hold my machine firmly, square from that edge, and from this edge they should be perpendicular to the horizontal surface. I apply a little bit of pressure and a little speed. So once I press this switch a little bit, the machine moves slowly, but with power still. So my pieces are now joined with 1 screw. Now they are joined together. 1 screw has joined them. So if I want to add another screw, I would follow the same process and screw another piece there. And the head also is well sunk into the surface. So that is the procedure of holding the 2 pieces together using a screw. Now our next task will be to fit a dowel in this joint. This joint, we called it a bridle joint, and the dowel looks like this. So this is the dowel that we are going to fit into the bridle joint. So at the assembly point, when I've made the joint, I fit it together tightly. So I'll apply the adhesive and then fit the dowel. So you do all the preparation before the adhesive. So for now, I will demonstrate how to make the hole. So still using my machine, I'll fit the bit, the engineering bit, to make the hole. I'll hold it with the F clamp, and then I will drill, but I'll fit a waste piece at the bottom just to ensure that I don't drill into my bench. It is very important to spare the bench when drilling. So I'll hold against a waste piece. And then I will drill through. So the machine is quite strong to do all the holes that I want, even before I recharge it again. So the dowel hole is now in place. The dowel is available. My dowel is right here. Oh, it's just next to this. Then after gluing, I will fit my dowel, use the mallet, I'll nail it to the other side, and then I will cut it. I'll get rid of these items before the saw, and then I will cut it. And here is my doweled joint. So the joint is now doweled. They cannot easily come out. Once we now glue it, after gluing and clamping together, the piece of dowel will serve to strengthen the joint. So that is the use of dowel. We have as well seen the procedure of screwing. And so the same process of doweling is repeated when you want to join such pieces of wood together. You drill from this side, then you drill from this side, measure the dowel that will fit the two holes, and then you fit them against each other. And then you form a very good, strong butt joint. So that is a process of doweling. We have seen the dowel detail, and so we have that one as a method of strengthening either a widening joint or a framing joint. So joints have many ways of strengthening them. For the lengthening joint, we can also use a hoop iron, especially for the roof work. We use a hoop iron which is coiled around the joint, and that makes the joint firm. So among the lengthening joints that we can very effectively use a hoop iron is the scarf joint. The scarf joint is the most common for our roofs. Once our roofs are spanning over a long span, then you may not get a member that will span from one end to the other. You use a scarf joint. The scarf joint, we reinforce it using the hoop iron. So these are just a few joints that we use in carpentry and joinery. Some we have used in our finished products, and some are also used in specialized work, as in other products. We have this product also that we have dubbed the bread box. So it has a top that can roll. It can roll along this curve here. So it can roll to close, it can roll to open. So it can also be used where the one part can be used to hide or to house the cover, and the other one, the cover will come out. So in our wall units, in our other units that we may require a cover that will hide from some point and also roll in a curve, we can also use the concept. So here we also have the dovetail joints at the end. We have a screwed plywood bottom and the folding top. So we have different kinds of methods to fit in a joinery piece. But the most important thing is to make sure that your joint is sound, your screwing is done in the right way. If you have to nail, then there are different ways of nailing, and we are going to learn all that in our next episodes or in our next programs. So we have come to the end of our presentation for today. I have been your presenter, Tirus Wanyoike, and up to next time, stay tuned. Goodbye.